Hello, Darren. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining this session. My name is Sarita. I'm a Userlytics researcher, and I'm going to be your guide in today's study. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
Excellent. So today we'll be exploring two running shoes websites, but do keep in mind that the test is for the websites, not for you. So there are no right or wrong answers. We just want to hear your impressions, your opinions about them, any issues you encounter, and especially any ideas on how we can improve your experience in these websites. Okay?
All right.
Excellent. As you proceed with the study, always remember to think out loud your thoughts. I am going to be able to see your screen and what you're doing, but let me know what is going through your mind. If there's any expectation, question, doubts, please let me know, okay?
Okay, perfect.
Excellent. So now to start, I'm going to ask you please to share your screen. So you'll see a pop-up coming up asking you to share your entire screen, please.
All right. There we go.
Perfect. And now you'll see a second pop-up. This is just going to start the activities that we will be doing today.
Okay.
Perfect. So before we start browsing the websites, I wanted to ask you some initial questions.
Yeah, perfect.
You mentioned to us that you buy your running shoes online,
Yes.
either always or occasionally. How
Mhm.
has your experience been with the online purchases?
Generally, it's been pretty all right. It has taken a little bit of trial and error. Me personally, I have my feet are a little wider, so finding
Mhm.
if I usually look for shoes that are specific, especially when it comes to running, specifically that are a little bit wider, but not everything has a option for that. So sometimes it takes a
Mhm.
little bit of trial and error. Luckily, the refund or exchange process is a lot easier than it used to be a couple of years ago. So overall, not too bad, but I do run in a situation where sometimes it's just not the right fit, and I do have to go through an exchange process.
Okay. Anything else that you would change about that online purchase of running shoes to make it better?
I just say, um, realistically, I think a big thing is just making the online. I wouldn't change anything, but depending on the site, sometimes the exchange process is easy. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a pain, and I can't just exchange. I have to send it back, wait another week before I get the money back, and then
Mhm.
repurchase it. So I'd say that shoes are fickle for the most part. Especially when it comes to running shoes or any kind of athletic shoes, I'd say making sure that the
Mhm.
exchange process is a simple thing. That way, it's not just a huge headache and having to wait to get funds back just to
Mhm.
reorder a pair of shoes.
Okay. And where you're browsing for those running shoes, if you had a magic wand, what would the perfect running shoe product page should include?
I think it should include overall just simple options in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes it's a
Mhm.
little frustrating when you're just overloaded with so many different options. The filters being just too many to where it's just hard to kind of pick a particular filter. I'm a very simple person, so just a good handful of options within what I was looking for with the filters. That way, it's easier to compare a couple of products.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for those answers. We're
Yeah.
going to click now on the next button and we'll start with first activity. So this activity is called a card sorting, and you'll be presented with 16 cards
Mhm.
that contains the various information that you could find precisely on a pair of running shoes website product page. And I want you in this activity to associate each of those pieces of information with one of the categories that are going to be available there, according to whether you think that feature is a must be offered, it's an only good to be offered, or you don't care if it's offered or not when you're purchasing for running shoes, and always explain out loud your thoughts as you categorize those options.
Okay. All right. And I'm familiar with this card sorting as well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
Great. So we have the options on the top. There where you see the videos, you can read out the options and you can move them to those categories of must have, nice to have, or don't care if it's offered or not.
Okay, perfect. So videos, I would say nice to have. I don't think it's a must-have in the grand scheme of things. I think pictures are going to be the main thing I'm looking at, but it's nice to have.
Okay. Okay, you can tap it in that category so that the card is
There we
moved
go.
into there.
Perfect. Size availability, an absolute must-have, especially for me. I think that's obviously because of my previous instances with my just the shape of my foot. Fit also a must-have. That kind of goes into size availability as well, how it's going to fit. Let's see. So the type of running shoe. Let me see if it tells me. Oh, let me move these back. So the type of running shoe that is best for, trying to think of what that, saying the type of running shoe that is best for, I'll keep it at that. So whether it's the type of running shoe that is best for long runs or the type of running shoe that is best for short runs or marathons or treadmills,
Exactly.
I think that's going to be a must have as well. That and the material are both going to be very specific to what I buy, especially since I've been changing up where I'm running. In particular, I've been doing a lot more trail running. So I'm going to want something that's a little bit more durable comparatively to if I'm just using the treadmill at the gym.
Okay.
Let's see. Similar products, I'm going to say, I'm going to switch that to nice to have. I generally try, like I explained earlier, I try to search within a small range of shoes, so I'm not just overloaded with information with comparison, or when comparing products. So similar products is nice to have, but not something I need.
Okay.
Text description as well, I'd say nice to have. And the reason I say that is I'm looking at the main factual aspects of the shoes. So what material they have, the reviews of the shoe, what they're used for, what's the best setting to use them for, the colors, the style, the text description. Sure, it might be a nice little selling point, but nothing crazy. Photos definitely a must have. I want to see what I'm buying. Reviews, like I mentioned earlier, I would love to see reviews. I'm a normal guy like most other people, so seeing how other people utilize the shoe and what they think about it is a big importance to me.
Okay.
Size guide. This one is one of those things where I've never had it really help me in a grand scheme of things. Like I know it's available, and I've tried using it on a couple of different sites here and there. I usually just skip it, and I go in with the expectation, hey, this is what I should be wearing based off previous purchases and previous style shoes.
Okay.
I'm going to say don't care, just because it's never really done anything for me personally.
Okay.
Price must have. I think that's a self-explanatory one on that one. So colors, I would say must have as well. And even though I am kind of a plain person for the most part, I usually go with black or gray. Having those colors available is obviously, shoes aren't cheap these days. If I'm spending 120 plus dollars on a pair of shoes, I like to at least have the range of colors.
Okay.
Shipping costs, of course, must have. I want to know exactly how much it's going to be when I, ship it out. If something's going to cost me 30 extra dollars, I might look at something different at that point.
Okay.
Return policy, just like I said before, I've had to go through some returns just due to shoes being, too thin and comfortable, especially when wearing them for running purposes or when I'm going to keep them for the next, hopefully, a couple of years. So a return policy is huge. Complete the look products. Um, I'm going to say it's nice to have. It's not something that, again, I'm a usually a simple guy, black, gray, something along those lines. If I do buy clothes, shoes I invest in, clothes, I'm going to Old Navy or something along those lines. So complete the look, not really a huge thing on my end. So it's nice
Okay.
to have, but not needed. Tech specs, I would say must have when it comes to running shoes. Like it says here, what the weight is, what the technology is, how the cushion is, all of that stuff is very imperative to running.
Okay, perfect. Is there any other feature or information that you don't see here that you would expect to have on that product page of the running shoes?
Um, I'm going to say. I don't think so. I think it covers everything. I mean, we're covering the main things that I talked about earlier. So having a picture, the size, the colors, the price, the reviews, the technology. I think it covers everything. Those are going to be the main things that I'm looking at, and anything else would just either go unnoticed by me or just I would skim it really quick.
Okay, perfect. Great. So we can finish there to go on to our next task. Perfect. So in this next task, we're going to have the same list of running shoes information, but in this case, I want you to order them in that one column that we have, from the one that is most helpful for you when you're purchasing running shoes, leaving at the top that option, and in the bottom, the one that is least helpful to you.
Okay.
So we can click there on next and always explain out loud your train of thought as you organize the options.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we're going to start with photos on here, and then we'll start organizing them accordingly. So we have materials. I will say is definitely going to be at least a little bit more important to photos than me. I mean, that's huge depending on how I'm going to be utilizing the shoe. So
Okay.
I think there's back. Oh, I see here. Okay. So we'll do. There's a way. I don't know if there's a way to go or change the order on these
Yeah.
guys.
I think if you click on the options, it will remove them or not.
Doesn't look like it removes them.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Oh, okay. I think I see here.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let me try that with material, and let me. It's definitely interesting with how it's.
Yeah, it's not easy, right? Because you cannot like drag and drop them, no? In
Yeah,
between
no, it
them?
doesn't let
No.
me drag and drop. It's click and go. But there is a way to kind of switch them around based on what I'm seeing here. But it looks like it switches it to the bottom.
Mm.
So let me. I think I might be able to. Let
Or
me
if you
try.
want, just put them all and let me know what order you will put them. I think it's easier.
Okay, that works. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have everything right here. So based on what we see here, my biggest one that I'm going to have at number 1 would be material, especially.
I do think we have more. I think they're 16. So I
Oh,
just think you need to click on all of them.
okay. Okay, I see here. All right.
Yeah. So when
Okay.
you get the number 16, there
Yep.
they will be. Oh, thanks.
Perfect. No problem. So let's see. I'm going to say again, I'm going to keep the same one as materials as number 1. So
Mhm.
again, that's going to be mainly because I'm kind of branching out. I used to just run specifically on the treadmill, and then I noticed that it's a little bit different when I'm running on the pavement, and now I'm running into a little bit more trail running since I've moved up a little further up north. So material is huge to me. So I put that as number 1. Let's see. I'm going to say tech specs will be number 2 for me.
Okay.
So having that, that technology behind it is going to be big into a purchase. Am I paying a little bit more for something that's supposed to be better, or do I pay a little bit less for something that has a little bit less technology?
Mm-hmm.
I think on that point, after that, I'm kind of already done with what sells me on a shoe. So the price is going to be the third thing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously an important thing. Things are more expensive these days. So I'm a little bit more wary and a little bit more of price conscious in what I spend my money on. So, 5 years ago, maybe I'd buy 2 shoes and just not really think about it. But now I'm really kind of trying to hone in on the one particular product.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I'd say after that, I would say size availability. And then following that would be fit. And both of those regions are kind of in the same area. Again, specifically, I just have wider feet. So having size availability, if there is a wide option, that's fantastic. Or at least I can get a description on how it fits. Hey, this is a wider fit shoe. That helps me make my decision a little bit better.
Okay.
And I'd say after that, I would say reviews would be number 6 on there. Reviews being, again, I'm a simple person. I'm not. I'd say I'm athletic in the grand scheme of things, but I'm not a professional athlete or anything. I'm looking to see what other normal people think about the product because I'm also a normal person. And I'd say after that, the type of running shoe that is best for whether that is, hey, this running shoe is best for, again, the trails, the asphalt, whatever the case, that's going to be what's next on there. And now we're going to get into the areas that are a little lesser comparatively what I really need. I would say, so I went over 3-year-old photos. So I'd say at that point, return policy will be next. I guess that is another important one for me, the return policy on there. For those reasons that I stated, is sometimes I just don't get the right fit. So I want to make sure the return policy is at least for a little bit and it's an easy process.
Okay.
And then next, I would say, I'm trying to think. I don't believe I've said photos yet. Photos would definitely go on there next, just to at least so I can see the style of the shoe. Even if I have a good description of what the technology and everything is, I still want to make sure it's something that would fit with me personally.
Okay.
And then we're going to get into the other things that are a little lesser important. So I'd say the next one would probably be shipping costs. Main reason being because shipping costs, I for the most part, I've never had anything super crazy. I want to make sure it's there, but I've never had anything that's been just exorbitant or super crazy for shipping. For the most part, I can expect within the same $10 to $20 range. So it's not super important on there. We have our, let's see, similar products, I'd say would go next on the list. Nice to have, not completely needed on my end. And then I think what we're left with right now is going to be the size guide and the text description and to complete the look. So
which
I would
one would
say,
you leave least?
Which one would be least?
Yeah.
I would say that one, size guide. It's just something I don't use very often at all. So I would just completely skip over it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we can finish this activity and move on to the next one. Perfect. And in this activity, we'll have once again the 16 cards, but now I want you to drop them in the title where you think that information should go. For example, inside a menu of a website. If, for example, it's in description, in the detail size, in the fit and size, in the how to style, or maybe in the more resources, or if you think that information should go directly on the product page without having to access a drop down or a menu inside that product page. If you think that there are categories missing from those items, feel free to create them and explain out loud your thoughts as you organize those options.
Okay, perfect. And this one, since it's a category one, should be pretty easy. All right, so we have how to style, description, directly on the, looks like product maybe.
Yeah, in the product page.
Yep. More resources, technology, size and fit, and details. Okay. So reviews, this is a good one. It either between more resources or details. I'm going to say more resources on reviews since it's not directly a thing that has to do with the shoe itself. It's just what other people are saying. Return policy, more resources. Size availability, I would say that would go on the size and fit for obvious reasons. Material. So material, I would say that would be under the description. It's not really too specific like the technology, so I'll put that under the description.
Okay.
And the type of running shoe that it's for, I would put under. It's a good one. I would put under detail as well.
Okay.
Price, description. Price, I'll put under detail. Similar products, I would say this would go under more resources because it's not directly related to the shoe in question.
Okay.
Shipping cost, details, text description, that would be under description, again, obvious reasons. Fit, I would say that would be under, this could go under a couple of them, either how to style or the description. I'm going to say description because we're not really talking about how to style it with other things in particular.
Okay.
Tech specs, technology, again, for obvious reasons. Photos, we'll say, you said that was directly on the product page, right? Okay, yep, so that'll be on photos, videos as well. Colors will be under the detail. I'd say colors will be under the details as well. And complete the look products, that will definitely be under how to style. I think that'll probably be the only one that fits there.
Okay. How about the size guide?
Details.
Okay, perfect. So we can click on finish and move on to our first website.
All right.
Perfect. So we are going now to imagine that you are looking for new running shoes and you land on the website that you can access by clicking there on the open link button. So without clicking on anything yet on the actual website, but feel free to scroll up and down, please review this homepage and let me know what are your first impressions of what you see here.
Okay, so first impressions, I can see that it's updated often. We have where we're shopping England for World Cup reasons. So I can see that this is obviously updated as time goes for real world events. And then we can immediately see that we're going into soccer aspect of things, again, just because of all the hype around the World Cup. So overall, so far, I see everything looks simple and it's leading on to kind of different sports and different things like that. Obviously, I'm assuming with the impression of different people with different interests are going to be accessing the Nike site. We've gone from basketball, tennis, soccer, baseball, and now we're leading into some more technology aspect of things. I mean, a big thing is I can tell the sites of quality. I mean, obviously, I'm familiar with Nike, but just having this seamless experience, everything's scrolling very smooth, despite the fact that there's videos running in the background. What I'm noticing here is it's not really, it's more of selling you on the technology of things instead of the actual pricing of the products. A single price for a single thing yet. It's really just trying to give you, from what I can see, it's trying to give you something that like someone like me can grasp onto, that basically would make me want to shop. Not necessarily, hey, I want to shop to get the cheapest or most expensive thing, but I want to shop something that interests me. So in this particular case, I'm an England fan. I was born in England. So this is something I might immediately go into because of what's going on in real world events.
So how motivated would you feel on this page to continue browsing it?
I'd say pretty motivated because it doesn't feel like I'm being sold something per se. I say it's because it's trying to relate to somebody or like somebody like me or maybe somebody else in general. and kind of lead you in the right direction with what we see in the advertisements here. But I don't feel like I'm being just, hey, buy this product now because I didn't even get a pop-up on the screen that says, hey, get 30% off, which is fine and everything like that. But sometimes I feel a little too invasive. This feels like it's trying to get me to relate to something first.
Oh, okay. Is there anything that you don't like about this homepage?
I'd say the only thing that I don't like in particular would be I'm used to at least having a toolbar on the top that says maybe like it has different categories, shoes, shirts, this particular collection, just a few different tabs that I can usually go to. Sure, I see that we have a search bar here with it looks like an AI feature, and maybe we can get that from that hamburger menu on the right-hand side. But I do generally like those tabs available so I can just go right to where I'm looking at.
Oh, okay. Okay. Great. So now I would like you to please show me how you would look for your running shoes and let me know what goes through your mind as you do so.
Okay. Do you want me to go next on the activity page or?
We're going to collapse this and in the website, just look for the running shoes as you would do normally and let me know what goes through your mind.
All right. So I'll hit the hamburger menu first. I'm going to go ahead and hit men. And again, I like to compare a couple of things. So I don't generally go right to the search bar. I'm going to go to shoes. All right. And then I'll immediately go to running. And in this particular case, I'll usually put on at least one or two filters. Like I said, I don't like putting on too many filters just because it gets a little overwhelming. But the big thing is making sure it's on men. Cushioning type, I'm fine with different kinds on here. But I like to hit a couple of things that are pretty simple. And the big thing right here is going to be my shoe size. And then the width, wide. And then I'll hit apply. And then I at least have a couple of different options right here that I can search through. And this way, it's a little easier to compare. I mean, for me personally, having these 6 options here is a lot better than having 50 different options to where I'm just kind of scrolling. I forget what I just looked at, opening up multiple tabs. So that's how I would go through on a search process.
Okay, so if we put it on a scale from 1 to 5, how easy or difficult would you say is to find running shoes to purchase on this website?
I put a 5. It only took me a couple of clicks. The site was very responsive, and I had the categories that I was looking for readily available. I didn't have to scroll through multiple different categories or multiple different options just to find men's running shoes. It was readily available.
Okay, so we are going to open that task box, and if we click on next, you'll have that question just to select your answer.
Okay. That would be very easy.
Perfect. So we can click next. And now we're going to explore the product page of one of those shoes that you have there. And let me know what are your thoughts and impressions as you read through the information that is presented there.
Okay, so first ones, I'm going to click on mainly the Nike Structure 26s just due to the style and how it fits that middle ground between kind of the expensive and the cheaper option. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, so first thing I notice is what I like, just a couple of pictures on here. I do like how we have the colors available, but they're both pictures. I don't have to select that little teeny dot that shows a particular color. So having both available on here is nice. Again, I lean more towards black myself, and even though I do like the orange and I'm not necessarily looking to match clothes perfectly, and these are very nice. The black I can wear with anything. I see that we already have the wide selected, which is nice. We have my size in stock. And then we have some basic information at the bottom. And then if we scroll, I can see we have reviews here. I like that a lot, the shipping return option. But of course, we go down to the bottom and we're going to see some more information. And the big thing I can already tell that I like a lot about this is it's simple. We're not overloading with information. We have a couple paragraphs here and there, a couple of key sentences or key features right here. This we can see is for road running, that we have a supportive cushion. Even having the shoe weight on there is nice. I click the technical specs again. It's just easy stuff for anybody to figure out. And And then if we see what's new, we have a couple bullets here that explain some of the information about what the shoe is, what they've worked on the shoe. But my big thing is it's not an overloading amount of information. It's not using terminology that I'm not going to be super familiar with, or at least something that I kind of grasp.
Okay.
As we can see,
Anything that you would change on the page?
I'd say, I guess the only thing I would change on the page is, even though it's not a huge amount of information, you do have to scroll down a little bit to see the technical aspects of it. I would probably swap that with this area right here with the shipping, return, and reviews. And like I said, reviews are very important, but I still want to actually do research on the shoe myself before leaning on reviews. So I would swap this area right here below bag and favorite with this area right here where it shows a couple of the technical specs of the shoe.
Okay. Any information that you miss having on this page?
I'd say no, nothing I can see. I mean, we have the price, we have the size, we have the technical aspects, the reviews, everything that I said previously that I would want on a page.
Okay. And talking about the price, how do you think about the way the price is presented on this page?
Simple. That's all I care about at that point, is just having what the price of the shoe is. Having prices for different colors is nice and everything like that, but I think it's right there at the very top. It's not trying to hide the price. So I say very simple. I like how it's right at the very top.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go to that text box to click on next, and we'll have, we actually have that question already here. Just read it out loud, choose an answer, and let me know why you chose it.
Okay, so overall, how much did this first website meet your expectations? And please explain your answer out loud. I'm going to say it met my expectations. The only reason I'm not putting a 7 is because I don't feel like it did anything crazy. It didn't flip the script, and I say that in a positive way. It met my expectations on what a site like as prolific as Nike would offer. And I think it did everything that I wanted to. It wasn't trying to flip the script or try anything new, but that's not a bad thing.
Would you like a website like Nike to flip the script?
I'd say no. I like what I'm used to. I'd say having to learn or navigate through a whole new website, or at least something that doesn't feel familiar, is more frustrating than not for me.
Okay. And to exceed your expectations in a positive way, what would Nike have to do?
I'd say make it simple. You don't make it to where it's hard to find information out. Make the page simple. Make it mobile friendly. For the most part, when I'm searching, even though I have an expensive computer that I built, I'm using my phone for the most part. I'm just relaxing and using my phone with one hand. So making it simple, making the process easy, and again, just leading on that just simplicity of everything, and just not trying to make it overly complicated for the sake of making it complicated.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we can click next and go to our following task. So we're going to put ourselves in that same scenario that you're looking for new running shoes, and you land now on a separate website, which you can access there with the open link button. So once again, without clicking on anything yet on the website, but feel free to scroll up and down, please review this other homepage and let me know what do you think of it compared to the one that you saw before.
Okay. All right, so immediately I can see that we have a very similar layout in the grand scheme of things. I do see that we have an option to download the app at the top, which Nike didn't have, but that's here or there. We can see that we have, again, a site that's updated frequently. We can see that we have World Cup on advertisement on here. This is maybe not as updated because we see that we have multiple countries on here with some of them that are already kind of kicked out, which is not a huge deal. It's nice to have options. So let's scroll down a little bit. We have more World Cup stuff. We have latest drops. So again, leaning into that, hey, we're trying to fit something for everybody. Big golfer, I think having that option on there is great. Got fit style, so maybe not necessarily relating into, hey, what does this person do, but what do they like to wear in general? Okay, so overall, I'd say, yeah, very similar, but also different at the same time. I feel like the Adidas site is leaning more on a stylistic approach. Hey, does this style fit somebody? While Nike was leaning on to, hey, what are your hobbies? What do you like? And that's what we're going to try to appease to the customer.
So what would you say you like more from this site than the other one?
I'd say that I do like a little bit more that this site is trying to appease to everybody based off a stylistic approach. Even though I'm a plain type of person at the end of the day, I think having that option is important. I don't think everybody has to be super athletic or super into sports or super into a particular sport like golf or soccer or whatever just to shop on Adidas' site. So I do like how they have a section on here that is a stylistic thing. It is talking about the World Cup and things like that, but it's not saying, hey, you need to be an athlete to access this site.
And what would you say you like less about this homepage than the other one?
It feels a little, and although I do like the simplicity, it feels a little shorter. I mean, it's very simple. You scroll down once and you're at the end of the page already, practically before you start getting to the end stuff and the returns and exchanges. So it does feel a little bit shorter, which immediately feels a little bit more limited. Not a huge deal. I know going into the menu, I could procure a lot of other things and do more detail. But the homepage feels a less interactive, I guess you would say. Nike had those videos. They had it was very interactive. It felt very updated. And while this does feel updated because it's talking about the World Cup heavily, it's less interactive overall. It just feels a little less, I guess, just feels a little bit less overall.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so once again, I would like you to show me how you look for running shoes, but now on this website, and let me know what goes through your mind as you do so.
Yep. So just like last time, I'm just going to go to the hamburger menu, and then I'm going to go to men. We're going to go to shoes, and then we're going to go to running shoes. Okay, and in this particular case, I can see that we have the filter option here. We already have the filters that I applied earlier, but then I'm going to want to select the width on here. So we'll go with a wide width, and then our size. So same thing. I like sticking to the simplicity of it. I don't need to see different colors and things like that. Exit out of that, and then we're going to hit show items. So then I can see what items we have available based off of those filters. So very similar to before.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to open that activity box and click on next,
Okay.
just to answer one question about this.
All right, so on a scale of 1 to 5, how difficult or easy was to find running shoes on the website? Again, just like the Nike site, it was very easy. A couple of clicks, everything was easy. And I will even say the hamburger menu on this one was a little bit better because it didn't lead me to a page every single time. It just opened up a different menu, so I didn't have to wait for it to load or anything.
So if you had to say which one was easier, which one would you mention?
I would say, and it's again, we're talking a small margin in the grand scheme of things, but I would say that the Adidas is easier because when I opened up the hamburger menu here and I clicked men and et cetera, I didn't have to go to a whole new page and wait to just select another filter.
Okay, something you would improve about the process of searching for running shoes on this page?
Nothing that I would see. I would say it's even faster and more responsive than the Nike page.
Okay, so now we're going to explore the product page of a shoe of your choosing. Let me know what goes through your mind as you explore the information of that shoe compared to the one that you saw before.
Okay, so first thing I noticed right here is that we have a couple of the shoes are going to be the same shoes, just different colors presented on the page. As we can see that we have the Run Falcon 5 wide running shoes, which is, I guess neither here or there in the grand scheme of things. I guess it does give the illusion that there are more options than there actually are, even though it's just a couple different colors. But I do like the gray version of these, so we'll click on that. And just like the Nike site, I can see that we have those different colors at the bottom here. We're immediately selected to my size. And then we can see that we do have a Prime option on here as well. So letting you know, hey, you can't order these off Amazon Prime, which might be more beneficial depending on shipment dates and things like that.
Okay.
And then we do have a couple of technical things here, or at least what the shoes is utilized for. So we can see this is best for short distance road running with a wide foot. So I do like how that's at top comparatively to being below the reviews. So we have our reviews, we have our size and fit, description, So again, with the details and everything, very short but sweet, gives you the details. It's not trying to overload with information. Even technology part, just a little tidbit about the cloud phone. So I do like how that's a little bit more, I guess, categorized better with the little drop down box. I do like that. And then, of course, to complete the look, and you may also like that's standard for the most part. Stuff I don't usually look at, but it's nice to have. You may also like is definitely a little long. Again, like I mentioned, I'm simple guy, so having a maybe 2 or 3 options, maybe even 4 on the you may also like is nice, but we're talking quite a bit of scrolling here before we get to the bottom. So I would definitely rather that be shortened up a little bit.
Anything else that you would change about this product page?
No, I think outside of that, that would be the biggest thing is shortening up. You may also like, I mean, that's a lot of different shoes to go through, and I just feel like it's way too information or way too much information. I like how the description right here for the size and fit description details, they are in a drop down box. It's nice because it consolidates everything. It just loses a couple of points because of this part right here.
Oh. And you mentioned that you liked more the organization of this page than on the other one. Is there something that you like less about this one compared to the one that we explored previously?
Just this part right here, you may also like would be the biggest thing. That's the only thing that I like less.
Okay. Any information that you miss having on this page?
No, I think it does what it's supposed to do. I get the description, the details, the technology, the pricing is right on there. I do like the pricing is definitely more competitive than the previous one if we're looking at it at face value. But outside of that, I think everything is on the page I like.
And referring to the price, what do you think about how it is presented on this page compared to the other one?
I think it's presented well, very similar. It's right at the top. It's not trying to hide it. I do get a feeling this is or you can already tell it's a discounted price because you can see the text is red instead of black. And then right under it, we have that 10% discount. So I like how they're giving the discount right away. You don't have to wait to get the checkout or put in any codes or anything. It's just right there. This is a discounted shoe.
Okay. And what do you think of the photos offered on this page?
They're good. I think they're exactly what I would expect. Top, bottom, right, left, just an overall 360-degree on there in a very plain setting. I think it's exactly what they're supposed to be.
Okay, perfect. So we can go to the activity box, please, and click on next to answer one question there on your page.
All right. So overall, how much did the second website meet your expectations? And please explain your answer out loud. I'd say, again, this one is it overall met my expectations. It's pretty much what I would expect, a high quality page where it gives you all of the information. I don't put exceed on this one because although I do like the drop down boxes more for things like the description and the technology, I didn't like the recommendations being so long at the bottom. So they cancel each other out a little bit. But at the end of the day, I still think it met my expectations.
Okay, perfect. So we can click there on the next and answer one more question.
So having gone through the 2 websites, which one do you prefer and why? This is a good one because I do like aspects from both. I'm going to say by a smidge, I'm going to say the first website. I do like how the main page was a little bit more interactive with the videos and everything like that. It felt a little bit more updated. And then when it came to the specific shoe, I like how the page was shorter. I think that, the similar products on the Adidas page scrolling down so far was it's just an annoyance on my end.
Okay. Any element from the other website that you would like to incorporate in your preferred choice?
I'd say being a little bit more interactive on the front page. It just felt like a good experience. Like I walked into a store and I have somebody asking questions about me instead of trying to sell me something.
Okay.
And then also just consolidating this. This is a lot on it. You may also like it's just going to overflow with information, and it's going to make searching for shoes a little bit more difficult for me in the grand scheme of things.
Anything that you did not see on any of the websites that you would add to your preferred site to improve the experience on it?
I'd say nothing that I can think of. I guess, okay, yeah, actually there is one thing. The only thing I would think of is usually on sites, I know there is an area at the top that you can click, maybe like a banner where they have current promotions going on. And it might just be because there aren't any current promotions, but usually I'd say in the summertime, I usually expect something. So maybe a banner or something along those lines that lets you know what current promotions are going on or what discount codes are going on.
Okay, great. Perfect. So we're going to go back to the activity task, and we're going to do one activity more that is called a tree test. So we are going to imagine that you're looking for a new set of running shoes that work well for your everyday life, but also that should be stylish. So I want you to please proceed to click on the buttons that you believe will get you to that information that you're looking for, and click on the I choose this on the menu option where you think you would find those pair of shoes that are both good for running and for your everyday life. If you feel the information could be found in more than one place, please verbally mention that other place where you would expect to find the requested information.
Okay. So let me go back to the home page right here.
Oh no, we are doing it in that activity box. It's going to be it's basically going to present you a tree-like structure so that you go through the many options.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just hit next right here. When I hit next right here, so it doesn't end the activity, or
no, yeah, you click next and you'll be presented with that menu option. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna imagine I'm looking for a new set of running shoes that should be stylish, and I'm gonna click on the buttons that'll lead there. So obviously the big thing right here is, regardless, I see new and trending, which might lead to stylish, but I'm gonna click men because I'm only looking for men's shoes. And then at that point, if we're leaning stylish, for me personally, I'm still going to click shoes because we're specifying shoes at this point. If I hit new and trending, I'm just going to get a lot of information for other clothing and things like that.
Okay.
And then we are still talking about running shoes right now. So we're going to click running, and then I choose this.
Okay. Why would you go there specifically?
Because even though we're looking for new and stylish shoes, at the end of the day, we're still using or we're still looking for running shoes. And I'm a man, so I'm using for men running shoes. If I just hit stylish from the get-go, I'm going to get running shoes. I might get hiking equipment or everyday wear or tennis equipment, and just a bunch of stuff that might not be in relation to what I'm looking for.
Okay, perfect. Well, that will be all for today. Thanks again for helping us out, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.